All right, welcome back to the Name Redacted Podcast, America's most beloved podcast, the most downloaded Red Sox podcast in the world. I'm on vacation. I'm on my first vacation in 6 years. I'm in a house with two of my friends, and this is the room that I'm sleeping in. They're still downstairs. They don't care that I'm doing this podcast, so they're going to be loud. You're going to hear them the whole time. I asked them to not be that loud. They're still going to be loud for sure. But it's the off season. This is what we do. We're on vacation. We still do podcasts. You're welcome. Pete B's here. I don't have the soundboard. It sucks. I wish I had the soundboard with me. I don't. But Peter's here. Tyler's here. And Jake's here. Not surprisingly, I'm on vacation. I'm here. Pat Light, not here. Not sure what the excuse was. Did he leave one in the group text?
I'm pretty sure he straight up said Thursday isn't even an option for me. Just shut the whole idea down.
He's super busy. Yeah, he's got places to be. He's got things to do. Obviously, very important guy. Pete, we have a major announcement regarding you and your future in regards to the podcast. I know a lot of people have been speculating about your future on the show. People right away noticed that you took the podcast out of your Twitter bio, and I'm just gonna let you make the announcement.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously like not super easy. I mean, we all kind of knew that like this is not my number one priority. I said that from the beginning. I was going to try to make it work as best I could and make it as much as I can. I've obviously missed a ton of episodes and I apologize for that. But you know, just with the way that things have worked out, I just had to come to the conclusion that I'm not fucking leaving. So
one more time.
I'm not fucking leaving. I'm still on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Still on the podcast.
Not going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
Just wanted to make the bio look a little cleaner. That's all.
Yeah, I took it out of the bio once the season ended because I was like, I don't think anybody's really gonna give a shit about a Red Sox podcast that I'm on half the time, especially in the off season. Like when I'm in hockey season, I realized that I wasn't going to be on the podcast very often, so I took the podcast out of my bio, so that people wouldn't go to the podcast looking for me and being like, where the fuck is he? So I took it out for the off season. It will be back in at the start of next Red Sox season. But I did see that the subreddit, our beloved subreddit, eagle-eyed subreddit, noticed that I took the podcast out of my bio and they were like, oh yeah, he's getting the fuck out of here. I was just like, no, that's not what's happening. But we decided to have some fun with it, teased a big announcement, and don't think that I didn't fucking notice everybody that celebrated my believed impending departure. I've been taking notes, I've been taking names, and you're all fucked. You're all fucked. I will not forget this. So I'm sticking around.
My mom was beside herself.
Yeah. I have also taken notes of the people that were upset. I appreciate all those people. The rest can go fuck themselves.
Yeah. My mom texted me, where is it? What day was that?
Yesterday. I felt bad because your mom seemed genuinely concerned, and your mom has been like a second mom to me. So I felt a little guilty about that. So apologies
she texted
to Ellen.
me yesterday and said,
she's a saint.
She said, what happened with Pete? And I just texted back a sad emoji. And she said, what? And I said, you'll see on Friday. And she said, no, it's only fucking Wednesday, with the crying emoji. And I said, very sad. And she said, stop it. And then I sent her the broken heart emoji. And then she said, I'm going to kill you when I see you. But I'm
surprised that she didn't just like show up to my door. She'd be like,
So
paying a
your
wellness check.
So your mom's sitting at home right now, waiting, making herself sick about what could possibly be happening to Pete. For all she knows, he's dying.
Correct. I mean, I still, even though like that was the end of the text conversation, that was the extent of the conversation in its entirety. I did not tell her anything about Pete. I didn't say, hey, all right, yeah, we had a little fun on text, but like, don't worry, like Pete's staying. He's not dying either.
Ellen, I would like to extend my
she'll
personal
find out about
apology
Pete's
for your
future
son's
when everyone
behavior.
else does. Yeah.
We don't play favorites.
She finds
around
out
here.
when everyone else does. There's no preferential treatment.
Pete, did anyone reach out to you concerned? Jared, you as well, asking what was going on to try to get like the sneak preview?
I got a couple like what's the announcement texts, in which I just ignored all of them. Because I'm not letting the big news leak out that I'm staying on the podcast.
Yeah. That is like that in itself is an announcement.
Well, it shouldn't have to be. There was nobody ever suggested otherwise except for the subreddit.
Yeah. I mean, you take it out of your bio, people are going to notice that. They're very, very sleuthy listeners. I feel like they're always paying attention to everything, and which I love about them, because it's that way. It's easier to communicate with them in secretive ways. I've done that in the past where, I'll just like tweets knowing that they'll see it. Like I can communicate with them without even using words. So they're smart people. We have some of the wittiest and smartest podcast listeners in the game. I'll stand by that.
This has got to be like what Taylor Swift feels like, because Swifties like dissect every little nugget of information or whatever that she puts out. Mm-hmm. Like she'll buy something at like Starbucks for like $11.13, and Swifties will be like, that means her new album is coming out on November 13th, 11/13. Wow, it's right out in broad daylight. She can't do anything without it being dissected. So I can't make a change to my Twitter bio without being kicked off the podcast by the listeners.
Yeah, they basically pronounce you dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, Pete.
Thank you.
I don't have
third
the
stint.
like. If I had the soundboard, I would use the applause right now.
Jake can add it in post.
Thanks, Jake. All right. Yeah, things have happened, I guess, since the fucking last episode that we did. I've tried to enjoy my vacation. Apparently Tyler is basically gonna steer the ship of this fucking episode, because apparently there was like an article yesterday. Didn't see it. What fucking happened, Tyler?
Okay, so yesterday the talk of the town, I want to say it came out probably like 6-7 p.m. Michael Silverman had a conversation with Sam Kennedy. For those who aren't paying attention, the GM meetings happened last week. This week is the owners' meetings, and they don't really get the same kind of hype. But Sam Kennedy kind of went out and had the conversation and confirmed some things. I think we've seen the Xander Bogaerts rumors flying left and right now with the Phillies. John Heyman connecting the Yankees to him. But Sam Kennedy
Heyman's a fucking idiot.
Of course, huge idiot, but we know he's Scott Boris's mouthpiece, and the Yankees aren't going after Xander Bogaerts. If they go after anyone, if Aaron Judge walks, it will be Carlos Correa. But they have two shortstops already in the wings ready. But he confirmed that the Red Sox have made 2 offers to Xander Bogaerts. One that came during the exclusivity period. There we go. Before he was a full, free agent and available to talk to all teams. And then they made another offer this month that was considered sweeter. That's a quote. And they feel the talks have been productive. That's really all he left it at, and saying they're continuing to have conversations with Scott and they're on standby. They also confirmed, or Kennedy confirmed, the report that Devers had received a contract extension. It wasn't just a birthday party visit or whatever. So shout out Jansen Pujols and Hector Gomez. They have officially been, confirmed by Sam Kennedy.
Yeah. So who was it that was trying to shout them down? Fucking Castillo?
Castillo, and I love Alex Spear. I love Castillo as well, but Alex Spear was
There was
also
another one besides Spear. There was someone else.
Oh, Dan Shaughnessy.
And someone.
Dan Shaughnessy.
Oh. Dan Shaughnessy. Oh, Dan. Hang it up, Dan. Come on. It's too bad. I want Dan to go out with class, and going at Pujols in this day and age with these players. Come on, we got to do better than that. Xander Bogaerts getting 2 offers. I think so. I like the fact that he hasn't agreed. Like there's been no like breaking news, like Red Sox, Xander Bogaerts close. The fact that we haven't seen that yet doesn't necessarily alarm me, because if you're Xander, you have to look at it as, all right, they gave me an offer before I was technically a free agent. Cool. They gave me another one that was nicer when I became a free agent. That's great too. But now you're training him and Scott Boras to be like, hey, if we just keep waiting and we don't accept these, they're just going to keep getting better. Like, why would we jump at an offer? Because I'm assuming that the Red Sox, if they gave him an offer early in free agency, it was one of the first, if not the first, that he had in hand. So if I'm Xander, I'm not signing shit with the Red Sox until I get something that looks stupid or way over market from another team to then take back to the Red Sox if his preference is to stay in Boston, which I'm assuming it still is. Like I don't think we're at the point now where Xander feels insulted and he's going to be like, all right, fuck it. Like I'm not going to sign with them no matter what. Like we're not there. Like, yes, they have made insulting offers, but I don't think we're at the point now where he's gone no matter what. I think it's smart to let the process play out. And I'm not concerned yet. I don't know where you guys are at in terms of like, fuck, like it's mid-November. It's mid-November.
Yeah, I think some people have forgot what a normal offseason is like a little bit, where, we've had a couple things, the Tyler Anderson, Anthony Rizzo, a couple of relievers off the board, but, it's a lot slower. We're not going to have that rush we even had last year right before December 1st or whatever it was, or, right after the lockout itself ended. But the way I look at it is Xander's going to take his time. You made him sweat for the past year. Like, if you didn't want to have to go through this whole period, you shouldn't have thrown that disrespectful offer to him in March. But now he's going to make you sweat. He's going to let the market develop. We know a guy like him. We haven't even got to the non-tender deadline. That's tomorrow. He's going to see what the Phillies are doing. He's going to have these conversations. And, Dave Dombrowski, we know they kind of tipped their hand a little bit already. They like Trey Turner. The word from the GM meetings was their guy. And then as it got really hot, they completely poured water on it. And we're like, we'll see. We like all the shortstops. No, you tipped your hand and it became kind of obvious. Scott Boras is going to keep feeding Heyman his stuff and say, the Phillies are here. They're going to try to up that offer as a whole. But yeah, I'm not sitting here and freaking out, but there is a certain group. Maz had his thing came out today and he, glass half full, glass half empty. He believes the Red Sox are trying to get out in front of it with the spin already. That, hey, we made offers. We tried to, make our best effort to sign Xander and it just didn't work out. He didn't want to come back here. Now, could you take that angle? Sure. I would go and say, well, look, they said the talks have been productive. If they weren't productive, I have a feeling Scott Boras would have been, he hasn't been scared to send some subtle shots at the Red Sox in the last year, going back to spring training or really the start of the season when he said, this is more of an ownership conversation than a Chaim Bloom conversation. There was nothing like that when he went and had his, annual meeting out there with his different, analogies and everything. He said, yeah, we're having talks with them. We're talking with John Henry, Tom Warner, and Chaim Bloom, and we'll go from there. I think the fact that nothing negative or slap in the face has come out is a sign it's at least in the right area. And now you just, he's going to wait out his market.
Yeah, I feel like as long
I'm
as
very neutral.
As long as there's like progress, then I think it's okay. Like, as long as it's heading in the right direction, because you don't want the thinking to shift. Because I think it's pretty clear that he wants to stay here. But if the thinking starts to shift, where it's like, okay, I want to stay here, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, then you start spinning the wheels. And you're like, okay, where am I going to play? Where would I like to play if it's not here? And like, you don't want him to get to that point. You don't want him to like start thinking about other possibilities as either like very real or very like desirable. So as long as the talks are making progress, I'm all right with that. I do think the longer it goes, though, like you're going to start approaching you got to start thinking of contingency plans and where else you might want to play. So don't fucking take too long.
Yeah. And we've made this point a bunch of times about the leaks with the Red Sox front office and Chaim Bloom and the guys and girls that work underneath Chaim. take everything with a grain of salt. Because if you're hearing rumors about, oh, there's movement, Xander Bogaerts, the Yankees and the Philly, like that's all Scott Boras speak. Like until I hear it from a little bit more reputable sources, which there haven't been many of those guys talking about this situation. Like we haven't heard much from the Passons and the Rosenthals of the world. And then you've got the Pujols situation, which by the way, we're now Twitter pals. We follow each other. Very excited about that. I would love to get him on the podcast at some point, which maybe we will do. But I think what I was starting to say was I feel very neutral on the Xander Bogaerts situation right now. Like I'm skewing towards positive, neutral, a little bit positive. I got a text last night. What's today? Thursday? Yeah. I got a text on Wednesday night that made me feel good. Like nothing was guaranteed. Nothing was promised. It was just kind of some reassurance from a good place that made me feel like, okay, I don't feel like I'm panicking or we're gonna lose Xander Bogaerts. I'm also not like, well, yeah, of course he's gonna come back. Like I'm not on that end of the spectrum either. I'm a little bit on the positive side of the spectrum right now, which I think it's a safe place to be. I definitely do not want to be in a position where I'm expecting him to come back and then he ends up somewhere else. I don't want to be there. I don't want to see what puddle I will become if Xander Bogaerts were to sign with the Atlanta Braves. That would really suck for a lot of us. I think a lot of us would really be upset about that. There's probably less than 1% of Red Sox fans that wouldn't be upset if he didn't stay. Like it's got to be somewhere in that percentile. Really? You think that there's more?
Maybe it's because I'm in the Bluminati portion of Twitter at times, but there is a fair, I'd call it like 5%.
Yeah, single digit.
Yeah, that shit on Xander, don't believe he can play defense, crap on the power and the slugging, kind of trending down the last couple
You know who
years.
to blame there?
Who do I blame?
Feels like Red Sox Stats has been running the Correa to Boston train for a couple of years now.
I would say that's a lot of the corner. And listen, if you don't get Xander, Carlos Correa would be my number 2. And I know you hate Carlos Correa, Jared.
I hate him as a person. I don't hate him as a baseball player.
Yeah. And I think it's a fair conversation. I think Xander does make the most sense for a multitude of reasons. If you don't get Xander, you better damn well turn to Carlos Correa, but they have the same agent. So be careful which way you walk that pathway, because whatever you say to Boras about Correa, is going to go to Xander and vice versa. I think the biggest nugget that I've been clinging to keep me happy the last week or so has been part of that GM meetings column from Spear, where he said the Red Sox, when talking to the other agents, the shortstop agents in that in this offseason, they're making it clear to all of them that Xander Bogaerts is their priority. So at the very least, for those who want to say, I don't give a fuck what they have to say, like write it in the Globe a million times, until you do it, it doesn't matter. At least the conversations in the back channels are matching their words at the moment. Will it stay that way? Who knows? But the fact that they're telling other agents like, no, Xander is our guy. We're going after him. We're going to keep our eyes set there. That says something. I would also say, like, be careful, because you're making it pretty clear that if you don't get him, all these other options are your plan B. And that's probably not the easiest way to sell someone on coming here.
No, but I
money's
think,
money.
I think like where we're headed is right now, today, the Red Sox feel good about bringing back Xander Bogaerts, and they feel good about paying Rafael Devers. But then, what if they also feel good about doing a lot more beyond that? And I've seen some tweets out there, people being like, oh, prepare yourself for the next week. It's going to be crazy. I don't think it's something that's going to play out over the course of a week where it's just like, bam, 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 the Red Sox do this, this, and that. But I think when you look back on the body of work for the entire offseason, I think we're going to look back and be like, okay, like that was all right. We haven't seen that in a long time, or at least ever under Chaim Bloom. Sounds like that's where things could be headed. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to get people excited. I want to get myself excited. But if that's what it sounds like internally, that's what the plan is because we've been saying that all along. You can't just pay Xander Bogaerts, extend Rafael Devers, and then be like, fuck yeah, we crushed that offseason. You're simply retaining pieces of the team that just finished in last place. Like, you have to then go above and beyond. I've heard the name Jose Abreu linked to the Boston Red Sox, and that seems to be genuine interest. I don't know why. Like, would that be like the DH situation? Because everything else that we've heard has been, the Red Sox want to keep the DH spot open so they can rotate guys in and use it more of a rotating cast of characters at the DH spot. You're going to bring in Jose Abreu, presumably coming off a down year, hoping for a bounce back. I know a guy that had a down year that's hoping for a bounce back. His name's JD Martinez. I don't know like what the difference in cost would be. Tyler, why the fuck are you shaking your head right now at the idea of JD Martinez coming back to this baseball team?
I wouldn't call it a down year for Jose Abreu. I think it was a little bit of a bounce back. You look at 2021, it was a 124 OPS plus. It was a 133 this past year. Now, did the power go down? 100%. And I think that's where you have that conversation. It's like, if you're pursuing power, are you going to get it from him? He went 30 home runs to 15. It's a little JD Martinez there. Now, he was a better hitter, a significantly better hitter than JD Martinez this past year. And if you look at the Baseball Savant page, like, it's all red circles. Like, it looks good. It doesn't look like there's a decline there, but we're talking about a guy who is also going into his age 36 season. So, like, you're not getting younger. If anything, you're getting older, but there's one difference between both of them. JD Martinez can't play the fucking field anymore. The dude hasn't gone out and played left field because his back is cramping up every single time he tries, which, hey, I love JD. I got love for him, but Cora was not happy at the end of the year that he couldn't go out and play in the field. Jose Abreu, you can go out and say, all right, well, he played over 120 games at first base last year. So if Tristan Casas needs a breather,
but what do you need him to do that for? If you get I'm not banking on Eric Hosmer being on the fucking roster still by opening day. I think he's an interesting trade chip to have when you owe him $0, just the league minimum, and you've got 3 years left of control. And whatever team you do trade him to, they don't have to take on that payment either. They can just be like, hey, if it fits into the plans for 1 year, it's 1 year. If it's 2 years, it's 2 years. If it's 3 years, great. Like, any team can just release him at no penalty. So yeah, I get that you have first base options, and who the fuck knows what's going to happen with Bobby Dahlbeck. I know that Tyler's been trying to trade him since fucking 2017. But he's still on the roster. You got Bob, you got fucking Hosmer, you got Casas. I don't know where an Abreu would fit in unless you're just going to stick him at DH.
Yeah, he would be a DH a majority of the time. I think the idea would be you move off Hosmer, hopefully, and he has a no trade clause, so it's not the easiest situation. But in this case,
Is it full?
Yes, it's a full no trade clause at this point. So when it comes to Abreu and Casas, I think there's injury concerns with Casas. If we're being real, the last year, like, he had the knee sprain or the high ankle sprain, that cost him, multiple months at the beginning of the year. And then he went to winter ball. He lasted 3 games, had an issue with his knee, and got sent back home for the winter. So, like, how much can you depend on that? And listen, I love Tristan Casas. I'd love him to play out there 150 times. I think it's good to have a little insurance there. So, hey, if you need to sit Tristan Casas on certain days as he goes through his first major league season, you can kind of say, all right, you go there, and maybe we give Xander, hopefully, a breather at DH. Trevor Story, a breather at DH. Devers, something that you used to do when JD Martinez could play the field. And I think that would go a long way, considering Devers was banged up all the second half. Bogaerts wasn't healthy a majority of the year. And, Trevor Story didn't play 100 games.
Yeah. Roster construction. Jake, where are you at right now on Xander Bogaerts? What's your confidence level 1 through 10? 10 being he's definitely coming back.
I'd put it at like a 6.5 probably. I'm just kind of waiting for something to happen. I feel like we've been in the same situation where, like, they say they're going to spend, we kind of believe them, but just hasn't really happened yet. So yeah, I'm just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, I think honestly, what I truly believe is that the Phillies tipping their hand that they really want Trey Turner, that fucked with the Bogaerts Scott Boras plan. Which, again, there's nothing, it's not deceiving, it's not malpractice. Like, Xander Bogaerts, if I'm him and Trey Turner in an alternate universe is not a free agent and the Phillies really are hot and heavy on Xander Bogaerts, I would use every ounce of that leverage to get what I feel is my true worth from the Red Sox. It's not saying I'm going to milk you for every single cent, but it is saying, like, hey, you've never been faced with a situation where I could legitimately leave. Like, you've never had to worry about that. Maybe now's the time for you to actually have to worry about that. So I don't know how, because the Yankee thing, like as Tyler mentioned, I don't believe that there's any, that's not like a legitimate threat. And, if the Phillies really are all in on Trey Turner, unless Trey Turner, boom, magic signs with the Seattle Mariners, then the Phillies have to pivot to either Carlos Correa or Xander Bogaerts. Then it becomes more of a leverage play for him. But until that happens, I would hate to enter this sort of stalemate between Bogaerts and the Red Sox, where Bogaerts has his number, the Red Sox have their number, and the Red Sox have no motivation to come up from their number because they're like, well, I mean, who else is a major player for you? If the Braves bring back Dansby Swanson, Correa goes to the Dodgers, Trey Turner goes to the Phillies, then it's like, all right, well, where are you going to go? Like, are you going to go to a shitty team for more money? Because we know that you're really competitive and you want to get out there and play in front of fans and you want a chance to win a World Series again. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic, is the free agent shortstop musical chairs that's going to be going on this winter. But we'll see how it plays out again. Because what was that fucking? There was like a fucking Reddit thread on the Section 10 page. Like, people were like, I thought the last episode that we did was great. Like, that was like a 10 out of 10. Then people are like, oh, they're beating the Xander Bogaerts thing into the ground. I'm like, bro, it's the first fucking week of the offseason. Guess what the biggest story is with the Red Sox? It's Xander Bogaerts' free agency. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Were there any games to talk about? No. Did anybody sign anywhere? No. I don't know.
I have a question. Like, I'm an idiot. How does the baseball offseason work? Like, what is the timeline? Because I feel like when I was a kid, the baseball offseason was like, hey, if you don't get your shit done at the winter meetings, you're a virgin and you're fucked for the rest of the offseason. Now it's like guys are signing like a week before spring training opens. So I have no idea when to expect like the bulk of the action. I don't know like what the timeline is.
Changes every single fucking offseason. It really,
crazy.
Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like, it used to be, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, it used to be like you said, people would sign at or before the winter meetings, but then you knew the Scott Boras clients, they don't sign till around Christmas, and Christmas is really late for MLB free agents, especially the top ones. And now it's to the point where it's like, hey, we're actually already reported to spring training, and hey, look, we just signed Trevor Story. Fuck yeah, right. Dude, we got Trevor Story on the team. We thought we already had the roster set. Turns out Trevor Story plays for this team. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I think it's infuriating. Didn't the Red Sox like fucking like skip Thanksgiving with their families one year so that they could get Kurt Schilling?
They went to Thanksgiving.
It was a trade, right? Though.
It was a trade, but like they were like, hey, if we don't get this done right now, we're fucked. Like it's over. So like,
that's because I think the Yankees were up his ass, and Kurt Schilling didn't have an agent. So you could imagine how that fucking meeting went with Uncle Kurt. He represented himself. So I believe he had a no trade clause. So he was basically in a position to choose what team he was traded to. And the Yankees made their pitch. The Red Sox made their pitch. And he was like, I like theirs better. So Team Theo.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I miss the days of the winter meetings, man, where the winter meetings were like chaos and you had to watch it like a fucking eagle eye. You'd be like, all right, this person just went into a meeting with this team and blah, blah, like, and they're not leaving without a deal. Like that shit was,
it was like
exciting.
That in 2019. The 2019 winter meetings was like that, but it was also like, hey, like, this is rare. Like, this never fucking happens. That was when the Yankees signed Garrett Cole and a bunch, I think, the Angels signed Rendon. Like, a bunch of shit went down at that winter meetings. Strasburg got the extension.
And that's really the only time we've seen Scott Boras, all Scott Boras clients, push it to the wall like that, where he was like getting these deals done. Otherwise, he's waited. And, we've seen that with Bryce Harper and everything. So that's the one thing, if you're the Red Sox, it's like, how far is this going to be drawn out? Scott Boras doesn't feel heat. He doesn't give a fuck. We know that. JD Martinez, like, we've seen it over the years. where they're just willing to sit and wait to get their price, or at least if they don't get their price, they'll take it at the end. That's what you worry about with Xander. And I think, you get to a point who kind of, bends the knee first here. Because eventually the Red Sox, they have so many things to do. It's like, how long can you leave, arguably your biggest question mark this offseason open like that? That's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, because the last thing that you want to do is be all in on Xander Bogaerts, but while you were chasing him down, you look up and you're like, wait a second, all the other shortstops are gone. It's like, and then the even worse than losing Xander would then have to pivot to be like, well, we signed Trevor Story. He's a shortstop, right? And everyone would be like, I fucking knew it. You've been planning for years to get rid of Xander Bogaerts. Yeah, you just can't have that. You absolutely cannot have that. But, for all the talk about free agency, where I am most, I guess, intrigued about the Red Sox options, because think about it this way. You're going to sign Xander Bogaerts, hopefully. You're going to extend Rafael Devers, hopefully. That combination of money is $500 million, realistically, right? Probably north of that. You're paying $500 million for players that are already on your team. Then you're thinking to yourself, well, where do they go from here? Like, how do you, you just maintained what you had last year, which is great. You want to do that. You want to keep these players. They're part of your core. But now where do you go? Are you going to sign Aaron Judge? No, they're not going to sign Aaron Judge. So the thing that intrigues me the most about this particular offseason is the trade options. Like, where can you go right now with what you have? And if you're to believe Chris Cotillo, who seems to be very hot on the trails of Alex Verdugo being a trade piece this winter, you've got some chips to play with. You've got some pretty nice prospects. All credit to Chaim Bloom and his guys coming in here and building back up the farm system. I feel like people think that I'm like more of like the Dave Dombrowski mindset where I'm like, yeah, fucking trade them all and bring in an ace, like bring in the best pitcher because you trade all your top. Like, I'm not like that, but I think that if there were a time for Chaim Bloom to part ways with some blue chippers, I feel like this would be the offseason to do it, because we're now talking about, I don't want to use the word hot seat, because I think the Red Sox have already refuted the degree of temperature that Chaim Bloom's seat is right now. But this is the offseason, if you're Chaim, to make an impact, to make a statement being like, fuck you. Like, I'm not necessarily, I'm going for the World Series, but it's like, I have the balls to pull the trigger on a deal like this and spend money like that.
Yeah, and I think there's been mouse droppings along with Verdugo. I think Nick Pivetta has kind of started to pop up a little bit as someone who, especially if they go 6-man rotation or whatever it may be, do they kind of opt to upgrade in that department? I think Tanner Houck, them telling him to prepare to start, I don't think it's 100% he's on this roster come next year. I think he could be someone they dangle with the hopes they don't have to give up any of the top 3 in the system right now, which is, Marcel Meyer, Tristan Casas, and Miguel Bleis. Miguel Bleis has entered that conversation now as in my opinion, I think a lot of people, as an untouchable prospect. When you're getting Julio Rodriguez comps at 18, like, things start to change. Like, you're talking about the guy who could be the next Mookie Betts in your farm system with all the tools and all those things. And that's a huge thing to put on someone, but that's the way he's being talked about. I think you have to look at that like 4 through 6 area. Those are the names you're kind of looking to deal here. And, that's your Nick York, your Brian Mata, and your Ceddanne Rafaela. It's those 3 names there. And I think those 3, depending on how you package it, throw Houck or Tanner Houck in that conversation, that can get you something. That can get you something really solid. And will it get you Sean Murphy? That's the name that's kind of going out. That Spear went all off about saying the Red Sox were very interested at the deadline. Didn't really walk that route because, hey, they wanted to start with Brian Bayo. As well as the Red Sox, if you tell me you want Brian Bayo, I'm hanging the fucking phone up. Don't say that shit to me again. We're not going that way, and they deserve to ask for it. It's Sean Murphy. You're getting 3 years of, an elite catcher on both sides of the ball. But is it more Brian Reynolds? And that's the name I've kind of started to fall in love with this offseason, that I think if you're looking for someone who's not going to absolutely destroy your farm system,
on Murphy now.
I am. And listen, I know I love Sean Murphy, but look at where the outfield is. You don't have a lot of guys. I like Rafaela. I think he's closer. People compare him to Mookie. That's crazy. I know the mechanics look the same. He's elite defensively, elite. I think he's more Kike Hernandez, which is still a good player, right? But would I consider that untouchable? No. You're lacking kind of that impact outfielder in your upper minors. I think Brian Reynolds is someone you could go after, hopefully get a deal done with that 4 through 6 range, and maybe you have to do a little something from your major league roster. But, a guy who finished 11th in MVP voting in 2021, this past year had a 126 OPS plus and hit 27 homers. And you'd be pushing it, trying to probably play him in right field. He struggled defensively in center this year. He was 6th percentile outs above average. He was 98th percentile the year before. So I think it's somewhere in the middle. He's not a free agent until 2026, but that's the kind of impact bat you could put in a corner here and say, all right, this guy is going to be middle of the order for the next 3 years and we don't have to think about it. I think that's
Rafael is. I know Coley's obsessed with Rafael. And I've had people that, actually have seen him play baseball with their own 2 eyes, be like, this guy's special. The defense is unbelievable.
Incredible.
Yeah. But I mean, to me, he wasn't even a top 20 prospect coming into the year. And then this guy just comes out of nowhere. And now he's this big thing. I'm not saying that's someone that you want to just usher right out the door, but it does scream to me, sell high. It does. It just does. And I know that Coley would never forgive me for saying that. I know that there's some prospect evaluators how could you ever do that? You can't do that. But it's pretty easy. When you're in the Red Sox position, I was about to ask Pete this question. Pete, what do you think is the highest area of need? If you were to make a trade and you're going to use blue chip prospects to do it, what area are you addressing with those bullets?
Starting pitching.
Thank you. I don't need a fucking all-star catcher right now. I mean, you could I'm not saying that the solution is to bring back Christian Vasquez, but even if Wong and McGuire are your 1-2 punch behind the dish, whatever. I don't think that that's going to really sink the ship if you get what you get from them in 2023, fine. I don't think that it'll be elite. I don't think it'll be great. Maybe it's not even good, but I think the word is satisfactory. I can live with satisfactory at the catching position. What I can't live with is a rotation that fucking sucks. You just can't do that.
It's like expecting to win in the NFL with a bad quarterback because you prioritized the tight end position. I feel like the tight end position is the catching of baseball, where it's you're probably not, there are very few stars at this position. So if you get one, it's a luxury, but you just want satisfactory performance and somebody who can play by this, the skill set, not be a star.
Yeah. So,
but you can't win without a quarterback and you can't win without starting pitching.
No, it's like we really bolstered the offensive line. Our quarterback sucks. It doesn't matter if you get to him or not. You're not going to get to him, but even if you do, he still sucks. The problem here is everyone wants starting pitching, right? That's every offseason. Teams want starting pitching, and the cost for said starting pitching is astronomical. So Are the Red Sox in a decent position to make a trade? Yeah. But I think the word is decent. They're in a decent position to make a trade. Are they in a great position? Are they stacked to the gills to the point where they could outbid some of the best farm systems or some of the most aggressive? I don't think anyone would use the word aggressive to describe Chaim Bloom and the way that he does things, which in a way is good. You don't want super aggressive. Has it worked for the Padres? No, it hasn't. Should it work for the Padres? Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of underperformance and whatever else. But yes, that's the area that I think that they should address. That's the area that I expect them to address. I think it was last episode that we looked at the depth chart for what the Red Sox rotation would be if the season started today, and we laughed. We laughed because there's no way that you can not just win a champ, make the bare minimum, be the number 6 seed getting into the postseason with that rotation. I'll spare you the Garrett Whitlock speech about how I don't fucking want this guy in the rotation. That's pretty well established by now. Pete, you weren't here last week. How do you feel about Garrett Whitlock in the rotation?
I mean, I've been here several times throughout the season, and you've been banging that drum.
Well, I want to know how you feel about it.
I don't really care either way, but I do think that like if you can have a lights out guy. All right, well, if I have to care, I'd rather have like a lights out end of the bullpen guy. And I think that he has a higher ceiling as being an end of the bullpen guy than a starting pitcher.
Thank you.
That is my personal take on it. I think I think he could be a good starting pitcher, but I think his ceiling is higher as an end of the bullpen guy.
When we're talking a starter here, right? Pursuing a starter through trade, is there one that comes to your mind that you think? Because we heard, the Guardian said Shane Bieber ain't going anywhere. I think if you're talking about, a top of the rotation starter, like a true ace, the only team that really fits that profile, the Diamondbacks aren't moving Zach Gallen. He's been pulled from that list as well. Is it Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns? Or are you hoping to get one of those guys? Those are really the guys, right? And if you do, it's going like their contract situations. Obviously, I think Woodruff is a lot more likely to be dealt. Are you willing to trade, at least one of those top three to get a deal done? Are you willing to trade Marcel Meyer for that? Are you willing to trade Tristan Casas or Miguel Blaise? And probably, I'll be real, I don't even know if Blaise is a strong enough chip. It probably has to be one of the three of, Meyer, Casas, Bayo.
Yeah, that's what's interesting, and it sounds so lame where it's more of like a Jesus take the wheel situation. Like you're just like, yeah, I know that we need a really good starting pitcher. I don't know who the fuck it is that it's gonna be. Like I don't want to be like it was very clear that going into 2016, I was like, David Price. David Price is the guy. That's the guy I want. Pay him the money. Get him to Boston. That's the guy. Boom, done. Happens. This time around, I love Corbin Burns. I obviously love Shane Bieber, and whenever a team says we're not trading this guy, I never believe them. I just go back to the Oakland A's and Josh Donaldson situation where Oakland told the Red Sox, fuck off, we're not trading this guy. And then like 3 days later, traded him to the Blue Jays. If the price is right, it is what it is. Like no one is off limits. You'd be a fool to not trade someone for the right price, especially if you're the Guardians. Like that's a guy that the Guardians don't pay and they don't shell out money unless you're Jose Ramirez, and he deserves it. There could be concerns with Bieber health wise. Yeah, right. So yeah, I'm not saying that like Bieber's the guy. I would love to have Shane Bieber on this team, but if the Guardians are not interested in making that trade, then it is what it is. But there's some interesting right-handed starting pitching options, which I feel like is important when you've, for the most part, we're pretty stacked with lefties. I know that Rich Hill probably is not coming back. Chris Sale, you can't expect anything from. But yeah, I would start with raiding the Brewers stash over there, because they just told you last year, we don't plan on paying guys when they become too expensive for us. We would rather trade them and save on cost and get back whatever return is coming our way than have to shell out X amount of dollars for a guy that we feel we've gotten the best of the best from. You guys can have whatever's left. Like that's how the Brewers are operating right now. So yeah, Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns. I think Burns would obviously be the preference. So I don't know. I don't know what Heim's thinking. Heim is too fucking tight-lipped. There are going to be virtually none or very little. The Red Sox are interested in so-and-so. Like that's the part that sucks as a fan.
Yeah, I think the way I'm looking at it right now is, do I think they're going to need an ace? I do. Do I think they're going to do it? I don't. I don't think they're going to give up the capital. I think Woodruff's a little more likely than Burns. Both of them are free agents in 2025. But if it's going to cost one of those top guys, I have a hard time seeing them do it. I don't think they go that far. I think it is. And that's where I would go and say, and I thought Ian Cundall of Sox Prospects made a good point. Like, if you're trading all these prospects, you probably want someone who's going to be on the field every single day. You throw money at kind of the top of the rotation guy. But you look at really the three guys you can consider an ace is Jacob deGrom, really doesn't make sense for you. Not that he would come here anyways, but the guy's injury plagued and you don't need another question mark. Justin Verlander, I think there is things that make sense. No QO, but he's 40, right? So like, and would he even want to come to Boston?
Deal. He wants
and
a
that's
fucking
another big
3-year
risk.
deal.
And then you say Carlos Rodon, who, this is really the first year he's had a full healthy season. The year before was the breakout campaign, but he was so worn out by the end of the year, he wasn't even effective. So it's like, do you want to hand the bag to one of those guys? I would look at Rodon and say, how different is this than Kevin Gausman? And we sit here and talk about Kevin Gausman all the time, right? How could the Red Sox not fucking call them one time or call him and just say, what are you thinking? Well, Rodon's kind of a late bloomer like Gausman was. Injuries, underperformance, kind of couldn't figure it out, was on the borderline of falling out of baseball. Kevin Gausman was on the Reds at one point. Like he was getting flipped as people tried to figure him out. Are you having a shot at someone who's really about to have, maybe it's not all 5 years, but you're going to get 3 really good prime years and, a couple mid-rotation years? I don't know. That's a game changer. And if you really want to win, you want to be going deep in the playoffs, you're going to need that ace guy. A rotation of 2s and 3s only gets you so far. And that's where some of my concern will go. But my feeling is they're going to go that route. I think they're going to go 6-man rotation and say, whether it's Nate, and we got to get into that with him turning down the QO, but is it Nate and Kodai Senga? And you sit there and say, we hope either Kodai Senga is a little bit better than advertised. I've heard anywhere from a 2 to a 4. Is it maybe Brian Bayo takes that step this year and he can be an upper rotation arm? Is it we believe Garrett Whitlock can be that guy? Or Nate Eovaldi can be 2021 again? That's what you're banking on.
Here's my idea. Shohei Ohtani.
We'd have nothing left.
I don't care. Give him everything.
Are you okay? So would you take being like garbage just to see Shohei Ohtani on a nightly basis?
No, but I'm saying sell the entire fucking farm system. Like let them have the city of Worcester if they want it. Give them everything. They can.
That is going to be great to see some team just absolutely deplete their entire fucking organization to get that guy.
Everything.
Yes.
Whoever trades for Shohei Ohtani will get fired within the next year and a half.
Yeah, but it'll be a fucking sick year and a half. You get to watch Shohei Ohtani every day.
Yeah, you'll sell a ton of tickets. You might win 65 games, but it's going to be so sick every 5th day seeing Shohei out there just doing his thing.
I truthfully believe if
2.3 runs to support.
If Heim had to put together that package, I think he'd go into cardiac arrest. I think he'd die on the fucking spot. If he had to write out those prospect names all on a piece of paper and get on the phone, I think he'd die.
Yeah. There's always like, yeah, never mind. I'm just saying.
I will say for the Red Sox rotation, I would prefer if they shot higher. I think with the Nate Eovaldi stuff, with him turning down the QO, that's a win for the Red Sox, by the way. Just a win.
Huge win.
Even though they didn't get the multi-year, they didn't get the multi-year deal done. Okay, whatever. They'll continue to have those conversations as they said. But at this point, hold Nate Eovaldi on your price because his market just kind of got fucked by you. You're a guy, Nate Eovaldi's coming off a tough 2022. Now he has the qualifying offer attached to him. That's not a fun spot to be when you're kind of a mid-rotation arm.
Well, you know what else is like a really big win?
What?
When you crack open a fucking ice cold blue moon.
Tell me more.
Baseball season's over, as you know. You can still feel that ballpark nostalgia with Blue Moon. In fact, Blue Moon was born in a ballpark. I'll be there at the Sandlot Brewery in Denver, Colorado. I'll be there, Sunday? I'm going from Austin, Texas to Denver, Colorado just to go see the Blue Moon Brewery. I'm very excited about that. Blue Moon's one-of-a-kind experience. Isn't just for baseball season. It's also perfect for holiday season, which is almost upon us here. Thanksgiving coming up real soon. Its bold flavor, bright explosion of color, iconic orange slice ritual, and authentic ballpark roots will make your holidays unique and flavorful. I know that this Thanksgiving, I'm bringing Blue Moon with me. When I come home for the holidays, I'm not showing up empty-handed. I'm bringing some Blue Moon. And I can't wait to taste that coriander. Celebrate the holidays. From its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. Pete, is that one of your favorite beers of all time?
Blue Moon? Of course.
Yeah.
It's a delicacy.
Do you ever, like, where do you go to get your oranges? Because I know that you're not having Blue Moon without oranges.
The grocery store?
Yeah, you do.
I buy, that's right. Or Costco, because I do drink a lot of Blue Moon, and I do a lot of old fashions, so I need a lot of fucking oranges.
Yeah. It's carefully crafted and full flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something that's one of a kind? Best served with a signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful hazy color. A beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all holiday season long. Enter for a chance to win an exclusive holiday, a Blue Moon paper shoot camera to immortalize those unforgettable holiday moments. Wow. Make your holidays brighter than ever with Blue Moon. Get Blue Moon delivered and enter to win an exclusive paper shoot camera at get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared, Jared. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of 50 USDC. 21 plus only. Begins November 1st, 2022 and ends on New Year's Eve 2022. Includes 4 entry periods. For rules, visit bluemoonholiday.com. Void where prohibited. Message and data rates may apply. Speaking of being in Austin, Texas, Pete.
I was
who I went to dinner with
didn't-
last night?
You didn't even mention that. You didn't even mention
Yeah,
where
I'm in
you
Austin,
went on
Texas.
vacation. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, hell yeah. It's one of my favorite places on earth. Who'd you go to dinner with?
I've only been here once, but it was a long time ago. I went to dinner last night with Brett Merriman.
Oh, hell yeah. That's my guy.
Yeah, I didn't know that was your guy.
Yeah, it's my guy.
Yeah, I did. I just brunches under their podcast network over there.
Correct, yeah. And Brett's a big hockey guy, so me and Brett.
He does love.
I went to
hockey.
school with I went to school with several people that Brett went to high school with as well. So there's like a bunch of like weird different connections. Me and Brett.
Brett's
Good
a great
old
guy.
Austin boy, hook 'em.
We do love Brett Merriman on this podcast. Speaking of Texas, Nathan Eovaldi received the qualifying offer from the Boston Red Sox, and he said, "Fuck you, dude. I'm not interested. I'm interested in a multi-year deal." To which the Red Sox said, "How's 3 years, $7 million sound?" I don't know what the deal was, Tyler. I don't know. Have you heard anything about what the offer was? I'm assuming it was not great because he has not accepted an offer from the Boston Red Sox at this current moment in time.
Yeah, I don't have a number, but I'd guess it's somewhere, the Red Sox are probably closer to 12 or 13. I bet he probably wants 15 to 17. That'd be my guess.
So turning down 1 year, 19 for 17 per over 3, presumably. Would you do that?
17 over 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I think I would.
53 years,
I think
51.
Yeah, I would, because I look at Nate Eovaldi and I say, if you're going to not go and get an ace, you're going to kind of sit here and fill your rotation with 2s and 3s and hope for the best. Okay, well, at least I know Nate Eovaldi is someone a year ago who finished 4th in Cy Young voting, who led the American League in FIP, who, when he started game 1 in the playoffs multiple times, did anyone here sit and be nervous? No, they believed in Nate Eovaldi because he shows up in October. He is one of those old-fashioned dudes, and there was plenty of things that went wrong this year, right? Like we saw, he struggled. He wasn't himself. He made 20 starts. The velocity was down. I'm guessing the Red Sox wouldn't even be having these conversations if they didn't believe the velo would come back for him. So I'm assuming they think that Nate Eovaldi is still there. But as we talked about last episode, Nate Eovaldi's worst season, when you look at the advanced metrics and compare him to Waka, they're about the same. So if we're talking Waka best case scenario is Nate Eovaldi in his worst year, it made more sense to throw that money throw the QO at Nate Eovaldi. And now, hey, go out to the open market, see if another team will offer it you. Teams are not going to want to give up a pick for you. And if they do, great. Someone wants to take that jump. We have options. Chris Bassett, I think, is someone who's very similar. Maybe a little bit of a higher floor and a little more healthy that you could bet on. Kodai Senga, these other guys. But at the end of the day, if Eovaldi goes and walks, the Red Sox are going to get a pick back. Now, this is part of the luxury tax issue. It's not going to be between the second and third. It's going to be between the fourth and the fifth. So, you're not getting that same value all the way back, but that maybe makes them a little bit more willing to look at some of the free agents that do have a QO next to them, especially if they bring Bogaerts back.
I'm glad you brought up the name Chris Bassett. Glad you brought up Bassett. Bassett's a guy that I'm very much interested in.
With Eovaldi or without?
I don't know. What are all the fucking nerd websites saying that Bassett's fetching in free agency?
Like something like 3 years is like 60, like right in that range.
Yeah, why not both?
It's not crazy, but then you're walking down that road of Bassett. What would you consider him? A number 3, maybe a number 2
on
a good year?
Yeah.
You're filling your rotation up that way. Some people would say, well, if you're going to go get Bassett, who has a QO attached to him, which is part of this conversation, would you rather Bassett, or do you want to take a shot on maybe someone like Kodai Senga, who doesn't have a QO next to him and maybe has a little more ceiling, but you don't know what you're getting out of him? You know that Bassett's going to go out there and give you, a 3.50 ERA over 30 starts.
I'll fucking take that for the money. Like some team is going to go out there, maybe it's the Texas Rangers, and give $40 million a year to a Jacob deGrom or a Justin Verlander. But obviously, there's I don't want to say that it's a guarantee, but it's pretty close to a guarantee, I guess. A Justin Verlander, even if he's fucking 40 years old, he's going to go out there and be a dog for you. Just won the Cy Young Award. Congratulations to him. But yeah, I think I'm not really opposed to going out there and filling out, like, because that's why, like, we keep forgetting that 2018 winningest team in franchise history, and everyone's like, yeah, but that team had Chris Sale. He was the ace of that team. Chris Sale was fucking hurt. He was real. I don't want to say he was a non-factor, but like, he wasn't like a great factor. That team went out there and won the World Series with some 2s and 3s, like Rick Porcello, Nate Eovaldi. Like, those guys were like, like when the Red Sox traded for Nathan Eovaldi, it was a few weeks before the trade deadline. Like, it wasn't like a deadline day acquisition. Everyone was like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's nice. Like, no one was like, fuck yeah, dude. We secured the bag. We got Nate. Let's go to the fucking world. Like, it wasn't like that. Like, he has proven that he can be a game 1 starter in a playoff series. He's got big old balls. So, yeah, I would love to have Nathan Eovaldi back. Like, in some terms, I guess you could call him an ace, but like, he's not really an ace. Like, he doesn't belong in the same class as like Verlander and DeGrom and Scherzer and those guys. He's probably a tier below that, which is still really good. So I like when you think about the trade market and like, who are you going to use all these blue chip prospects on to bring in whoever? And the name that I haven't said is because it's unrealistic and it's unfortunate that you're in the same division. I would fucking nut a gallon of Elmer's glue if the Red Sox traded for Tyler Glasnow. I would, but that's just not going to happen. You're not going to trade within the division, that guy, and you're not going to make the trade with the dude that made the trade. like the days of Dan Duquette trading for Pedro Martinez twice, that's just not going to happen anymore. So, yeah, yes, I think I would be a lot more comfortable going into the season with some 2s and 3s and maybe, you mentioned like a 4. Sure. Fuck it. Like, I want innings. Like, I want the less I have to see the Red Sox bullpen, the better. Give me the 2s and 3s and 4s that are going to go out there and give me whatever, 165, 180 innings. Great. The less I have to see this fucking bullpen, the better. Because now, fucking Tyler is advocating for taking the only good thing in that bullpen and putting it in this dog shit rotation. So the bullpen's going to be
Don't do John
worse.
Schreiber like that. Don't do John Schreiber like that.
John Schreiber, who I love, absolutely fell apart at the end of the year, and he is not a proven commodity. And
Red
you have
Sox
no idea
him.
what he is. You have no idea what he is going to be next year. No idea.
If the velo is where it needs to be, I know he's an eighth inning guy, but I think that's fair, right? You don't know. Maybe we've seen
Nobody
relievers
knows.
break out like that for a year and shit the bed the next year, but that goes back like to the Whitlock thing. I told you, if you don't take care of the bullpen and Whitlock's in the rotation, you fucked up. You can't do it. Can't do it. If you don't take care of the bullpen, Garrett Whitlock should not be in the rotation. You can have that luxury if you take care of it. And that's where I go like Tanner Houck. If he's here, he's my closer. I'm pretty firm on that now. I've been doing a lot of thinking about it, trying to say, does it make sense? It does. I liked what I saw from Tanner Houck when he moved into the closer role. He stabilized the team until the entire pitching staff died. You could put Tanner Houck in that ninth. Go get me, another quality eighth inning guy. Maybe, another high leverage lefty arm, and then we can have that conversation. Can you get me, something like Andrew Chafin, and can you get me something like Seth Lugo and start to build up depth? And you need probably a little bit more than that. But that's where I'd start to have that conversation. Fill out that bullpen so you don't have to worry. You need a load of arms. And then you bring that 6-man rotation. You can give, someone like Nate Eovaldi and bring him back and say, hey, we didn't have an ace, but we're putting him in the best position possible because he doesn't have to be an absolute workhorse. He's pitching every 6 days or, on that kind of schedule. Even if you go get Senga, hey, you're coming from Japan. It's all good. You're going to pitch on the same schedule you did in Japan. There's nothing to worry about here. We're going to keep you healthy. Whitlock, you're not going to die. We're going to actually build you up this year and let you become the starter we know you can be. We're going to let you become that number 2 or number 3 arm that dominated the Angels so much people were comparing him to Jacob deGrom that night. And that was a real thing happening
by
on
the way,
Twitter.
I was at that game that night. Imagine seeing one start from fucking Garrett Whitlock and being like, I'm holding on to this.
It wasn't one start. Do you remember the Tampa Bay start?
I believe the Rays fucking suck. They can't hit.
Spare me. Then what are the Red Sox?
Oh, spare me. I'm frustrated. I want
Fuck off.
Garrett Whitlock
Fuck
in the
off.
rotation. I'm so frustrated about this.
He's not a fucking starter, Tyler. And you're going to see by the All-Star. Let's make a bet. I don't even know what the wager is going to be. We'll make a bet by the All-Star break that Garrett Whitlock will either be A, and I'm not wishing injury, on the injured list, or B, in the rotation or in the bullpen by the All-Star break.
All right. Well, let's go through the reasoning here. If he's hurt, he's hurt, right? Like then you just chalk it up to what it is. I think that's a little unfair considering, he's a guy he got hurt even when he was in the bullpen.
Sure.
But
yep, true.
If we're talking in not being effective, all right, I'll bow down.
I'm
and
saying
give it to
just plans change. Like it's November 17th. So roster construction, like you could have an entire offseason right now where it's like, yeah, no, we planned on having Garrett Whitlock in the rotation, but like we just fucking signed this guy, that guy. We made a trade for this dude, and then this guy emerged, and we didn't need him there. Like he's just way better as a reliever, or at least most non-stupid fucking idiots know that he's way better as a reliever than he is as a starter. So let's just put him right back in the bullpen because we don't have a fucking bullpen. So it should just make a bunch of sense to leave him where he's the most dominant,
I just love how we sit here and we fawn over Garrett Whitlock, and the reason you fall in love with him is because he's throwing 9 outs.
You fawn over him, Tyler.
We all fawn over him. Don't do that to me. We're talking about Garrett Whitlock. We fell in love with Garrett Whitlock because he was going 3 innings and dominating.
Fawn over Garrett Whitlock? Do you fawn over him?
No, that's a good word. Fawn's a good word. I love him. I love Garrett Whitlock.
Wouldn't say I'm like blood flowing in my penis talking about
my
Garrett
penis
Whitlock.
is so erect thinking about Garrett Whitlock.
Of course
You're out
it
of
is,
your mind.
because you're fucking Tyler Milliken.
Who gets you? When you talk about Red Sox, they haven't developed pitching prospects in years. We finally have Bayo. Bayo gets me extremely hard as well. But Garrett,
he's not a developed pitching prospect. He's a fucking Rule 5 guy.
I know, and for him to turn into this, that we view Garrett
Whitlock,
doesn't
count.
And he could
like
be
if you want to talk
starter.
about developed pitching prospects, I'm not putting Garrett Whitlock in the same class as John Lester and fucking Clay Buchholz.
And what years was that, Jared? How old was I? I was fucking 7 years old when they were coming up.
Right.
I'm 24.
I'm 24. It's just not. It's not the same class. Like I don't put Garrett Whitlock in the same class as those guys. So I don't know.
But if
again,
Garrett Whitlock
what
can
I'm
become
hoping
that
for,
number 2 or number 3 starter, then he is that. I killed Jared.
He's not going to be. He's not going to be.
All right. If say 25 starts, we get 25 starts out of Garrett Whitlock in 2023. What's his ERA?
Okay. 4.28.
Oh, I'll go 3.6, 3.5.
Yeah, because you're a fucking Garrett Whitlock toe sucker.
Or if I look at Garrett Whitlock and I see at a 4.15 ERA but a 3.60 FIP, I think I can see there was some bad luck in there for a guy who wasn't healthy. He wasn't healthy.
What if he's got a 4.28 with a 4.79 FIP? Then what?
Then I tell you, the advanced metrics are telling you he's worse than the ERA. But the advanced metrics are telling me he's better than his ERA while pitching on one fucking hip. He's walking around like an old man and he never got a chance to build up. Imagine sitting in the bullpen because the Red Sox jerked your dick around so much that you had to get stretched out while attempting to start on this Red Sox team, where you're going 3 innings and then 4 innings and then 5 innings and hoping to actually be a starting pitcher. How about we give him a full offseason to put it all together? How about that?
Or I get into a better idea. You want to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
My idea.
Yep, let's hear your stupid idea.
Here's my idea, right?
Your stupid idea, yep.
You fill out the rotation with actual starting pitchers so that you don't have to put your best fucking reliever in the goddamn rotation, Tyler. That seems like a great idea to me. You know, especially because, again, I've said this before, you do not have someone waiting in the wings to take Whitlock's place at the back end of the bullpen. Yes, you can use the name Tanner Houck. You can use the name Tanner Houck, but Tanner Houck was already fucking there. He was already fucking there, and we've seen them side by side. All due respect to Tanner Houck, I think he's a good reliever. I think he did okay. I think he did slightly above average, maybe even in the closer spot. That's great.
8 for 9 in save opportunities.
Does he do what Garrett Whitlock does as a reliever? Does he do it? No, he doesn't.
You fell in love
not.
with Garrett Whitlock pitching 3 innings in the bullpen. That's what you fell in love with. You didn't fall in love with Garrett Whitlock in a traditional closer role because they've never really consistently used him in a traditional closer role. That's part of the frustration with this whole situation. He was never traditionally a closer. No. That's an FR, by the way. We saw Garrett Whitlock pitching 7, 8, 9, and you were like, oh shit, he could go through an entire order and dominate. Okay, well, I think he could go through an entire order twice and dominate and pitch 6 innings. I think he can do that. I think it's possible. Just let him have a chance.
Do you know what this boils down to, though? Do you know what this boils down to, Tyler? This boils down to what I'm saying. What I want Garrett Whitlock to do. I've already seen him do it, and I want him to do it again. What you want Garrett Whitlock to do is something that none of us have ever seen, and you're just hoping that he can do for the first time. That's the difference.
I've seen it in starts. I've seen it when he was healthy. I've seen him when he was right. Dominate the Angels and completely obliterate them.
Never over the course of a full season have you seen that. You bring up 2 fucking start. You bring up the fucking Angels start and the Rays start. That's it. Hey, I saw this guy make 2 fucking starts, so I know that he could be a number 2. He could be a number 2 in a rotation.
You act like he had a 6 ERA, Jared. You act like he had a
Hopes
6 ERA. It was just over 4.
Hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams that I believe Garrett Whitlock can be a starter in the big leagues.
Jake, do me a favor. Get fucking. I want to get Disney Tourism as a sponsor for this podcast because the whole fucking show is built off of hopes and dreams. Tyler's hopes and dreams. I want to talk about the fucking.
This guy's going to Disney World.
Tyler's fucking hopes and dreams. Let's look at the game log because apparently all I talk about is the Angels and the Rays.
Please.
I forgot when Garrett Whitlock pitched 6 innings and gave up 2 runs against the Orioles. I forgot about that. Oh, wait. I forgot about when Garrett Whitlock pitched 6 innings against the Reds and didn't give up an earned run himself. I forgot about those. Those just didn't cross my mind. That Garrett Whitlock.
Did you just use the Reds as an example?
Yes. It was a score.
The Reds are not even a real fucking baseball team.
I don't care. It's Major League Baseball. These are multiple starts. Don't tell me there were 2 starts where he looked that good because there were multiple and he was doing it on one hip. All I'm saying, listen, you're acting like if Garrett Whitlock goes to the rotation, it's like, oh, fuck, he'll never be able to pitch again. He's Daniel Bard. What are we going to do? No, it's not fucking that.
Hey,
What?
don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I never summoned the name of Daniel Bard. I think that the people that bring up Daniel Bard are stupid.
He has 3 pitches. He has 3 pitches
Well,
unlike Daniel Bard.
I never said, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, it's Daniel Bard all over again. I'm not one of those people. I'm not saying that putting him in the rotation is going to break him. I'm just saying that he is better suited. It helps the Boston Red Sox more if he's in the bullpen.
And all I'm saying is if you properly take care of your bullpen the way you need to, you have a chance at having a number 3 or number 2 starter, in my opinion, on extremely good money for, 4 years. The extension was 4 years plus 2 more option years on top of that. If you can get that kind of guy to be a mid to top rotation arm, that is fantastic value and something that will pay for it. And every team is trying to have young pitchers on, contracts like that. If you can get one of those, you see how far it can take you and you can build a rotation like the Astros. That is young, that is powerful, and that can carry you over the course of the season.
That brings me to my next point. If you're the Red Sox, why wouldn't you be interested in hiring James Click? Has a previous relationship with Chaim Bloom, and the debate that we just had about the Red Sox bullpen, James Click built the Houston Astros bullpen, one of the best, if not the best in the league. And until you watch those games in the playoffs, unless you're an Astros fan, I will probably challenge you on you not knowing a single fucking name in that bullpen, besides maybe Presley at the back end, because you're familiar with his bouts against the Red Sox, maybe in prior playoff series. Like, that is not a star-studded bullpen, but it's nasty. Like, every guy that they call upon in that bullpen, you're like, fuck, then we got to face this guy. And if we get past him, we got to face this guy. Like, I know that it hasn't been rumored. I'm not saying that it's like, it's not like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But if you're the Red Sox, why aren't you? I guess because he could probably have Chaim Bloom's job in a different organization. Like, I think that if he were to come here, he's essentially accepting a demotion, unless the Red Sox are the kings of making up job titles. They could make up a job title and be like, yeah, well, it's actually higher than general manager, but it's below chief baseball officer, which we also made up. Like, that's a made up job title that we gave to Chaim Bloom to be like, you're kind of like a general manager, but not really you're cooler than a general manager. You're the fucking chief baseball officer. That's greater than the director of the president of baseball operations, which was Dave Dombrowski. So that's like the chief, and then there's the president. But you, James Click, you can be the fucking I don't even know what you would call it. Let's make up a job title for James Click right now. He can be the emperor of baseball construction. He's the emperor of baseball construction, and that is above the president of baseball operations, but it's below the chief baseball officer. So, but it's also 2 levels above general manager, which is what you were in Houston. So technically it's a promotion. You're just not above Chaim. So if you want to be the emperor of baseball construction, come on to Boston. We'd love to have you.
And a funny thing about that, so Bloom and Click wrote a Baseball Prospectus together. When Bloom got hired by the Rays, he was the one who recommended them to hire Click. So like that relationship really is like there. Now, I think James Click knows it's probably not going to happen this year because the only job open right now is the Astros, and Jim Crane now thinks he's the GM. So he's going to play this game or whatever. Can you get James Click to say, all right, well, I'm going to have to wait a year. You hire him in some consultant role. You take what he can give you. You learn. It's nice to have another voice like that. A la kind of what Dave Dombrowski did with like Frank Wren.
Yeah.
Right? And you say, hey, like, you're a voice I respect. Come sit with me in the fucking box every night. We'll talk some shit through and you can be my sounding board.
The Braves basically just told Frank Wren to fuck off after he was like, yeah, BJ Upton, here's give you a contract. He just blew it in Atlanta. And then the Red Sox were like, yeah, I guess we'll give you a paycheck, but like, we don't really give a fuck what you do. Like, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I just Just wanted to throw that feeler out there. I'm sure he's going to get a better job unless we made up the emperor of baseball construction job title and gave him a promotion technically in this organization, which again, we should look into that. Maybe, you know what? It's been a while. It's not been a while since we've spoken, but it's been a while since I've asked him about coming on the podcast. Maybe we'll get Heimblum on here.
Yes.
And ask him about creating a job title that is technically above president of baseball operations, and then hiring James Click to bring him in here to build a bullpen. Maybe he'll find that insulting. Maybe he'll respond back to me like, what do you mean? You think I can't build a bullpen? To which I will say, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that bullpen sucked.
And does it start
I mean,
with
do you think that you built a good bullpen last year, Heim? Are you gonna fucking cry, Tyler? You think if I
I'm
asked
not gonna cry.
Heim Bloom about his bullpen building abilities that he, I will. Heim and I have a great relationship.
Heim has murdered somebody. Like, I think back to 2021, he just murdered Adam Ottavino and never apologized for it. Like he rode Adam Ottavino so hard in the first half of 2021, he wasn't even a reliever anymore. Like, you couldn't even use him down the stretch run. And then he goes to the Mets this year and he's legit filthy because they don't kill him. So
well, that's another name that just came up.
I wouldn't be opposed. He's a name I'd put in there. The command improved. I think it was 5.1 walks per 9 in Boston. It was like in the 2s this past year. If he can replicate that, sure. I'd bring Adam Ottavino back. He had some nice moments here early.
Mm-hmm.
And he seemed to enjoy his experience.
Hello.
Did he? AP.
Those were the quotes at the end of the year that he would have been open to coming back. He enjoyed his time. He felt like he called it home, but it felt like the tune did change a little bit when he got to the Mets. But maybe that was more. He just felt a little upset based on how everything played out. But he said at the end of the year, he would have been happy to come back here.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Have you heard otherwise? Speak to me, Jared.
No, just, yeah. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know.
Cross
Jake,
the name
write this
off
down.
the
I think from now on I should do my podcast standing up. I feel way more energetic and animated when I do podcast standing. I've never done a podcast standing up. I used to do Barstool Radio, and I would stand up in studio. Me and Kevin would stand up. But I don't think I've done a podcast standing up unless we were doing like an interview in the dugout or something. I feel loose and limber. I feel alert. Write that down, Jake. Thank you.
Speaking of Jake, we have a separate announcement. I want to make sure that everybody knows. Not only am I staying on the podcast, I'm committing to taking the paintballs, and I'm honestly like, I am anxious. Like I want to get it over with, so I'd like to do it sooner rather than later.
Or I think it would be funny if we just were like, for the next calendar year, we can shoot you anytime we want.
No, I hate
like
that.
You could just be going to the grocery store to buy your oranges to get for your blue moon, and we can just fucking shoot you going out to your car.
This was not part of the deal.
That's the How I Met Your Mother.
It was a loose agreement.
Oh, yeah, the slap bet.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not a fan of that one.
I am.
I like it.
And we're going to look into it.
We need to make like a full event now where it's like I'm like the undercard is me getting hit by paintballs, and the main event is you fighting Tyler over the Garrett Whitlock's credentials.
Listen, Garrett Whitlock's going to take my side.
Maybe at winter weekend, we can we can shoot you outside when it's 19 degrees.
Oh man!
Like, all right, we're gonna do a live show. And then after that, we're going to shoot Pete. Yeah. I feel like we probably can't do a live show.
There's probably a liability hook there.
No. I mean, the police would probably have to come and respond to shots fired, but it's Springfield. They get that all the time.
It's true.
Or option B, we can just shoot you in the hotel room. We'll just put you in the bathtub.
Well, I'm asleep after a night of drinking.
Yeah, like we'll
would be incredible.
we'll rent out like a suite
in the bed.
Just believe. It's like, is
It's
that
a
red
redo-
paint?
it's a
like, no,
redo
no,
of
I
the
broke
initial
skin.
video.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to get a penthouse because we need as much. We're not going to shoot them point blank. So we're going to need a bathroom with some runway. And I don't think that we have to worry about breaking any tiles because we're going to shoot Pete. So the paint would just obviously splatter in the bathroom. But I'm sure that washes off. That's what it's meant to do. It's not like fucking fence paint. It's paintball paint. So, all right. At winter weekend, we're going to shoot Pete in the bathroom. And however much room we have to work with, it is what it is. You know, like it's January. We're not going to go outside. It's cold. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to shoot him in a hotel room.
All right, that works for me.
Beautiful.
I like the idea of like hanging up a tarp, like it's sort of like a fucking like a Dexter scene, and then just unloading on the paintballs.
I mean, you know, we're definitely welcome to take input from you. I mean, if you've got ideas, you've got ways that you want to work around this.
Secure a room. Just secure a room at the MGM or whatever it is, at like a conference room, and then be like, "Yo, Pete, we got a surprise for you. Come in here. It's a nice little event." And I walk in, and it's just lined, fucking floor to ceiling with like tarps and protective plastic, and you guys close the door behind me like it's fucking Goodfellas, and I'm like, "Fuck, god damn it."
Was that The Godfather or
turn
The
around
Godfather 2 where they light up Sonny in front of the, like when he's at the toll booth thing? Is that Godfather 2? I'm asking
Fun fact,
fucking
I've never
Jake
seen
and Tyler
any
like they've ever
Godfathers.
fucking seen The Godfather.
I
Did
don't
you just
know
say
any
you've
of
never
those
seen The
movies.
Godfather?
Never seen
No.
any of them.
What's the other one? Goodfellas. Yeah,
I've seen Goodfellas.
I used to say,
Great movie.
I get
Wait,
those two
hold
confused.
hold on. Pete does a fucking movie podcast and you've never seen The Godfather?
Nope.
Respect.
I'm calling
Anything
DJ.
that was made before I was born.
No.
Anything that was made before. Oh, do call DJ. Do
I'm
it.
calling DJ right now. Calling DJ right
You don't
now.
even have a soundboard. What are you going to throw on speaker?
You've reached the voicemail of DJ Bean. I'm unable.
Wow.
What a,
The
what
fuck
a
is that?
loser. Oh, I think he's in a movie right now, actually, ironically. But if,
So
if the
what
movie's
is-
made before I was born, I don't have to see it.
Agreed.
That's wrong. It's The
good
Godfather.
logic.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it was made before I was born. I don't have to see it. If I see it, it's
I
good
just
for me.
first
but
of all,
don't
I
have
just
to see it.
assumed that Jake hasn't seen it. Have you seen it, Jake?
Nah, I haven't seen it.
Only you, Jared. Says something.
Yeah,
Says a lot.
Yeah, maybe you're just not as cool as you think.
No, you guys aren't cool. I'm cool as fuck.
I'm
I've seen The
surprised that you.
Godfather.
I'm surprised that you have seen The Godfather, though.
Like, I mean, my dad fucking loves all those movies.
Yeah, I figured that's probably what it was. You like
It's-
only watch
yeah.
scary movies. Can I
I was
ask
about to
you?
say.
Can I ask you? Are you excited about The Menu? Because I'm seeing that tomorrow, and I'm very fucking excited.
What is The Menu? I haven't even heard about that.
It's like a prestige horror movie, and it's getting incredible reviews.
Oh, maybe I'll watch it
Great
tonight
cast.
on my little illegal movie website.
Mm.
Is it already out?
It's out today. That's where DJ is right now. Actually,
He's seeing that movie.
he is seeing that movie,
It's called The Menu.
The Menu.
Oh, I saw the trailer for this.
It
This
looks
actually
awesome.
did look pretty sick.
It looks incredible, and all the reviews say that it is an awesome movie. So I'm very
It's
excited.
not on my illegal website yet.
It's been a big year for good horror movies.
Oh, don't. If you say Smiley, I'm gonna puke.
I haven't seen Smile.
It's Smile.
Or yeah,
but
whatever it is. I saw that
Barbarian.
movie's ass.
Awesome
Horrendous.
movie. Barbarian is an incredible
Barbarian wasn't
horror
great.
movie.
It wasn't great.
Wasn't great?
It wasn't. No.
Barbarian.
If you like Barbarian, then you're like one of those artsy fartsy fucking losers that are like, you just have to like see the message. Like you have to like once you get past like the symbolism of Barbarian and like you just totally understand it on a different level.
It's got layers, man. Barbarian's
It's
got
a fucking
layers.
it was
an
a
awesome
fucking dumb
movie. It was.
You should watch it high. You should watch that movie high. If you do that, I feel like you could probably have a deeper appreciation for it. If you watch it dead stone cold sober, you're going to be like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? That's going to be your experience watching that movie.
That's a good takeaway to have. If you come away from a movie like, what the fuck was that? It's going to stick in your head. I was thinking about Barbarian for like 2 weeks after I saw it. I was like, that movie was fucked.
Yeah, like it's a horror movie that takes its liberties. Horror movies are supposed to be weird, and they're supposed to be like, oh, like this could never really happen, and that's Barbarian. It's like, well, that's fucking
right. I like that it goes for it.
Yeah, I just don't know that
It's
it
an
punched
awesome
it in.
No, it did.
It definitely went for it on fourth down. I don't know if the chains say first down.
Listen, I'm 1 for 1 in pop culture takes on this podcast already because
What was the other one?
I defended Robin, dancing on my own, which like
Yeah,
Callum
you were
Scott,
wrong about that one
his
too.
version's good.
Yeah, that
wasn't-
was a really bad take.
No, it was a great.
Yeah, a lot of people.
And
A lot of people called you
a lot of fans. No, a lot of listeners were on my side with that one.
I saw a lot of people
and
calling
they were
you
playing a
stupid.
prank on you.
It's. I don't think they were, and it has since sort of come full circle because the Bruins are using that as their victory song this year, and they win every fucking game. So
Bruins are a fucking hockey team. No one watches hockey.
that's not true. I watch hockey.
Who else here watches hockey?
Jake watches hockey.
Don't
Jake
speak
watches
for
a little
Jake.
hockey.
Jared watches a little hockey too.
I do. I just got those Bruins sneakers the other day. I'm like the king of buying gifts for people, like to check a box, be like, hey, it's your birthday. How about some fucking Bruins tickets? And then just going. Like that's so like I'm gonna be doing a lot of that. Like, hey, Merry Christmas. Here's fucking glass seats to the Bruins. Guess who's gonna be with you though? Me. So I'm gonna be that's usually a majority of the Bruins games that I go to are gifts to myself, but like I'm inviting someone else and making it think that it's their present too.
That sounds about right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck it. You know?
You should get me, you, and Ellen tickets to the Bruins.
You trying to fuck my mom?
Whoa.
Maybe. No, I have too much respect for your dad for that.
And she's
that's
listening to she listens to every episode, but she's listening.
Yeah,
She
closely
listens to
this.
every
Ellen's a
episode.
babe, but I respect your dad too
Whoa!
much to encroach on that territory.
Yeah,
What?
that's fair. I wouldn't describe my mom as a babe, but I guess it's a compliment.
Well, yeah, it is a compliment, and it's a fact.
Yeah. You want to go to a game with my mom and me?
Bruins game, yeah. Hey, I mean, you don't have to come. Me and Elle can just go.
She's
But,
an
I mean,
all
if you're gonna get the
for-
tickets,
My adopted sister is a huge Bruins fan.
really,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. I still want to go with that one.
Okay. That's a great call. That's a great call. Yeah. My sister is fucking like you listen to her talk for 10 minutes, you're gonna want to blow your brains all over the
That's
fucking
not true. I like your sister
boards.
Oh
too.
my God.
No,
That's
no.
a horrible thing to say.
No. I'm not saying it's her personality, although that's not great either, but her voice and her accent makes you want to just fucking
That's almost
Read
worse
that.
because that's something she can't control.
No, she can. She just chooses not to. I used to have a really bad accent too. No, look at me. You can't tell where I'm
Yeah,
from.
you did. Yours was fucking horrible.
Real
Good
bad.
point.
It's called having a strong sense of self-control.
Condition.
Some people have it, some people don't. I just happen to have it. So, do we miss anything, Tyler?
No, I think we checked everything. Nate Eovaldi, the Sean
No, but there
Murphy
actually
stuff.
is an update from Jake, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, we had
What's the update?
we
Jake?
had venues like calling off the hook, trying to line up to get people to see Pete get blasted.
Shoot, Pete.
Yeah, so we do have one that wants to host. We could pick a weekend, or if we just want to get our own gun, we can do it.
Where is it?
Winter weekend.
Where is this? Can you tell me like the state?
Yeah, it's in Massachusetts. It's 20 minutes north of Boston.
Oh, perfect. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, let's just do that. I'm not trying to go too far to shoot Pete. I can just go to his fucking house and do it.
Jesus Christ.
What? I'll clean up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you didn't say paintball. You're like, I'm just going to go to your house and shoot you. It should have been a real gun. You're in Texas right now. It's on the table.
That's true. They literally have
Guy
like
spends
gumball
2
machines.
days in Texas, and he's like, I'm coming to your house and I'm shooting you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Brother.
like you walk around Texas long enough and it's like, yeah, there's you put a quarter in here and maybe it gives you a bouncy ball, maybe it gives you some bubble gum, maybe it gives you a revolver. Mm-hmm. It's a nice city, Austin, Texas. So I'm going to oh, by the way, next week we're bringing back Down the DM, Jake.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think Steve tried to say that was his segment, which maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But I mean, he didn't invent DMs, and maybe at some point Steve will make an appearance. I don't know. I would love to have Steve on. It's balls in Steve's court. I don't know if it was something where he couldn't do it before. It was. I don't know. I think he was doing like the I can't do it because of my bosses, but like I think he just wanted to do his own thing. Now I'm sure he wants an outlet to talk about the Red Sox. Hey, Steve. Steve. The door's open. The door's open. If you want to come on, we'd love to have a conversation with you. Talk Sox. You love Pete? Have you guys met, Jake?
Yeah, we met at the Red Sox game a couple times.
Tyler, you ever met Steve?
Not personally, but I will say Steve finally extended an olive branch to me last week after we uploaded the episode talking about my verification as someone who was also verified the day before, anybody
you
was
two
paying
fucking
for
losers.
it. No,
Pete,
no.
can you, by the way, can you make fun of Tyler?
I
I totally forgot about that.
Pete,
can you make
no,
fun of
Pete,
Tyler
no.
for buying his blue check, please?
Tyler,
No.
did you do it? Did you do
No.
it?
Fortunately, me and
Immediately.
Steve had the same
It
connection
was like
in the day
it was a
before we were
neck and
taking
neck
care of it.
race between Steve and Tyler on who paid for their blue check mark faster.
Sounds like jealousy.
That's tough. I hit Steve with a pretty mean meme on Twitter like last week.
What was it?
Making fun of him for buying the blue check mark. And it was just like a Squidward laughing meme pointing at Steve.
Yeah.
It's not kind.
It's
Why
a
didn't you
tough
tag me? I didn't see it.
Tyler.
Yeah, look, you guys think you're so much better with your real
Well, because I don't want to be.
verification.
I wasn't doing it to be like, hey, look, everybody, I'm making fun of Steve. But it was like I had to make fun of him. I'm not gonna let it go. I'm gonna try to be the bigger man, and so I'm not gonna like bully him and like make everybody laugh along with me. But I'm gonna bully him. I have to.
Pete, let me tell you this right now. If roles were reversed and Steve got a blue check from Odyssey and you didn't get one from whatever fucking 90 outlets that you've worked for that would have given you a blue check, you've worked for many reputable organizations, he would have been on you. I think if you bought it and he got it organically, he would have definitely called you out for buying it for sure.
Yeah, I called him out. Called him out for buying it, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to be like, "Hey, everybody, come on, we're going to make fun of Steve."
What about Tyler though? Tyler fucking bought it too.
I didn't.
I clicked the check mark on your profile, Tyler, and it says you got the check mark because you subscribed to Twitter Blue.
There is a glitch going on that I haven't heard about. I did
There's
see
a
that on Twitter
glitch
today.
going-
It's an unfortunate glitch. Yeah.
Listen,
if you can get that worked out in the next week, I'll give you like a week grace period if you can get it. But if I come back next week and I click on your profile and I see that the check mark says you have this check mark because you subscribe to Twitter Blue, we're gonna have to have some discussions, and I might not be.
Then we get to give you a swirly
all
at
right,
winter weekend.
Oh my God. I have some counterpoints to this. I do.
Please.
First off, now that no one cares about the verification mark anymore, no one's going to really
people
think
care.
that any of them are fake. No, I think people move past it. We're on to a new era here. I don't think people will click on these check marks to verify. I think most people are too lazy to do that.
Well,
no.
I wasn't too lazy, but I did notice.
You
that
were
it says-
inspired today by some people in this call. I think the second reason is now you can no longer buy the verification. So I think maybe it's almost kind of cool that I did it and now people can't do it.
No, because all that reveals is that you bought it as soon as you could. There was no like sitting on like, maybe I'll buy it. Maybe I won't. I'll see what happens. No, you were like, ooh, gates are open. I'm in.
I think that's a really good lesson in life, that if you want something, you should go after it. You shouldn't wait. And that's kind of the advice I took is someone who's really, trying to reach their dreams and achieve things. I saw the opportunity.
No,
not
it's
trying to
like
reach your
losing your
dreams, you're trying
virginity
to
to
buy
a
them.
prostitute. It's like losing your virginity to a prostitute. That's what you and Steve
I
did.
still smash though. I still smash.
Yeah,
my
I
dick
guess.
Yeah, but now
Yeah,
like
it's like
now you're,
it's
now
like
your
losing
dick
your
burns.
virginity
All
to
right.
a prostitute, but now for the rest of your life you have to wear a T-shirt that says "I lost my virginity to a prostitute."
Yeah, right.
That's what paying for
Still
the blue
nutted.
check is. Yeah,
Still
I mean,
nutted.
it's still
Don't
hit,
care.
but
Still,
everyone
nutted.
knows everyone knows how it really went down, though.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Judge me as you will.
I'd never judge you for it.
You have judged me.
Mm-mm.
I won't. I won't lie. My girlfriend's been clowning me about it as well. too.
Oh, that's
like she's putting it on me, and they're like, I'm starting to question like if people that close to me are saying it. Like maybe there is some things I have to rethink
You're-
about my life.
Is your blue check causing problems for you at home? That sucks. That sucks. I'm really sorry to
It's a
hear
tough
that.
look.
You guys can, if you guys can survive that watch party, you guys can survive anything. So you'll pull through.
God. Well, now you're making me seem like a bad person, and I'll be honest.
No,
this
it's not that you're a
podcast
bad
and Red
person. It's
Sox-
just that I think that your behavior at the watch party was far worse or far more egregious of an offense than getting a blue check mark, paying for it. I mean,
that's real. And, now that winter weekend's coming, it's actually putting my relationship in another bad spot where, January 20th to the 21st, the 20th is actually my 5-year anniversary. So, I had to speak with her and let her know that like, I love you, babe, but 5 years is 5 years. Before, those 5 years, the Red Sox were there for me. You know what I mean? The Red
like,
Sox
hey,
took
it's
care
not
of
10
me.
years.
When I was like busting loads and socks and shit, and I was
Jesus
on my own, I could
Christ.
still turn the Sox game on every night and have a good time.
Right.
I love that she showed
Jesus
up, and I'm
Christ.
happy she's part of my life. But like,
Yeah.
priorities are priorities. So I'll be at winter weekend.
So you told your
Preach.
girlfriend, you're better than a sock. And then she
Oh.
said, shut up, you Twitter blue bitch.
It's
Mhm.
almost like you were there.
Sounds like
Yeah.
you guys have a real healthy relationship.
Yeah.
We're battling, but we're standing tall.
Winter weekend always falls on my sister's birthday. I've never been to her birthday party.
And she's
probably-
okay
It sounds
with that,
like
right?
Winter
you
weekend
probably haven't been invited based on the way that you talk about her on this podcast.
I haven't said anything untrue though.
Well, I gotta head out.
All right, yeah. We also we gotta go. Down the DM, Jake, write that down. Down the DM is back next episode. Are we back before Thanksgiving? Well, are we? Do we want to do an early episode next week or what? I don't fucking know.
Maybe we'll actually record on Wednesday for once. Maybe.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
We can all
Let's
make it work.
record on Wednesday, but we're gonna have to do it early because I'm getting fucked up at Cal. Bye, Pete. See you later. I'm gonna get fucked up at Kowloon on Wednesday, as I've been known to do on every Thanksgiving Eve. And I don't care. I don't care that I'm getting up there in age and it's kind of sad, and everyone else in my graduating class is married with kids now, and I'm not. My high school reunion is the Sunday after Thanksgiving. I've never been to a reunion of mine. I might show up at that one. Be like, let me just gauge where you guys are at in comparison to where I'm at. And so that I can feel bad about myself that it's like, oh, is that your That's your 5-year-old? Oh, cool. You have a mortgage payment? That's sick. Wow. I'm excited. I'm excited to just compare lives.
Hey, be you. Don't be ashamed. You've done well for yourself. Everybody achieves things in different parts of life. You're just, that part of life's coming up next. Be proud of Jared Carrabis.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? Yeah, we'll see. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back next week for more Garrett Whitlock debate. Tune in on Wednesday. See you then.
Buenas noches, amigos.